Oh, that's a cool little background. I see color coordinated. Mm.
This is totally
Mm.
doing. This is my roommate. And I actually, it's funny, Sean is on here tonight because I know Sean would hate this because nothing's in alphabetical order, all by color.
Well, I was keeping our audience, patiently waiting and anticipating what we were going to be talking about.
Oh, this
So I will.
joke. I didn't prepare anything for like,
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's because, yes, I don't know if it's, hopefully we hear each other because it was it was going in and out. But, so, hey, we're reflect, recalibrate. Oh. And these are our live reflections. Just some informal stuff. We chat about things that come up.
mhm, mhm.
You said our first one?
Yeah.
Yes. So, just bear with us. Bear with us. So, Lord. But today, basically what happened was I sent Danny this link to a YouTube video that was posted by Aspen Institute. And the video is called Breakout, the Case for Funding the Arts and Resetting the Creative Economy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to this, and it's a quick video. It's only 50 minutes. And it's moderated by Anna Devere Smith. Yes. And the guests are Jeremy O. Harris, Kate D. Levine, Jason Farago, Nataki Garrett. And all these people are talking about what's going on with our creative economy. So when I saw it, when I watched it, I was like, oh man, these people are saying exactly what I've been thinking. Oh my gosh, I want to have conversations about this. So then I sent it to Danny, and then so here we are. And we were like, let's do some live reflections. Danny, Sean, wait a minute, you just said, did you, no, you're asking, you put people on notice?
Yeah. So I want to make sure he did his homework. I'm excited. I actually have so many questions for you, Janet, because this is really your area of expertise. You were saying that last time on our first episode, but now we're getting more into advocate for the arts. So I have a lot of questions for you too about how you like agree and disagree with what they were saying in the video. But actually, can I ask my first question? Are you playing with filters? I don't know how to do that. How do you do that? So, get it.
Okay, yes, please. I'm ready.
Wait, what was the thing that surprised you most about that video?
Well, what's funny is that nothing really surprised me, actually, because it's the stuff that I've been looking into and doing research on when it comes to arts advocacy. The fact that the arts brings in billions of dollars per state, and in my case, city. The fact that, artists, independent contractors do not have the same, what is it called? Oh my gosh, protections as staff employees. The fact that we, as sole proprietors, I'm a full-time artist, I have to pay the same taxes that a corporation like Walmart pays. The fact that the only reason that we are getting unemployment insurance is because of the CARES Act from last year, and questioning what are we going to do thereafter.
Can you talk?
So nothing was really shocking or new.
Oh no!
Go ahead. What'd you say, Danny?
Oh no, it's okay. Keep going.
No, I'm here.
Ready? I'm sorry.
No. You. What did you had another question? Is that?
Keep going. I'll do the robot dance.
Oh no. I answered it. It wasn't shocking. It was just reiterating and providing a different space to see this information discussed. So,
because like there was,
I mean, for you, what
yeah, I'm embarrassed that I didn't know this, that arts and culture economy is bigger than transportation or agriculture. When they dropped that, that
yeah.
surprised. 878 billion. We contribute 878 billion to the United States economy. That blew my mind. And then
Yeah.
5 people are employed. Like 5 million people work in this sector. So those
Yeah.
numbers,
Mhm.
those numbers shouldn't surprise me, but they still surprise me. I don't know how to wrap my head around 878 billion.
Just think about the fact that, look at movies, look at Hollywood, look at how much Hollywood is bringing in on a consistent basis, even during this pandemic, because, they figured out, it's ways to still create revenue streams. It's ways to still bring in money as Hollywood while we're all going through this pandemic. And I mean, it's like, it's, movies, you know what I mean? So you have the streaming services. I think Disney, like, what is it? No, Discovery. I've been getting all these things on Discovery Network because, I watch HGTV all the time, international. All these things coming up to get people to sign up to have the streaming service for Discovery Channel. So, people, these spaces, those industries are getting more folks, and they definitely brought in more money, I think. Even though you couldn't go into a movie theater last year, you could still stream movies. And then the movies that are coming out, they put them on different platforms so you can stream them. And then you have to go to certain platforms to see certain things. Like, I think with some celebrities, they've only gone to like Disney. So then you have to sign up for Disney to see that. Or like, for example, a film that I'm going to watch by Lee Daniels this weekend with my mom and my sisters, is Billie Holiday versus the United States. I think that's what it's called. And so that's on Hulu. So we're going to have to sign up for Hulu so we can watch this show. You know what I mean? So it's the revenue streams for entertainment, like they put it under the culture sector. The revenue streams is crazy. I mean,
yeah. Sometimes I want to forget about Hollywood as being part of the cultural arts sector. So yeah, it shouldn't.
I know, right?
I can't think so much of the
I
little
know.
people, us. Okay, so I would imagine you probably agree with most of the things in the video. Was there anything that stood out to you that you were like, nope, any points of argument?
No, actually, none whatsoever. I mean, not that I can recall, because I did watch it 1.5 times, but not that I can recall. Nothing that actually stood out that was like, oh no, they're wrong about that, and that makes no sense for people like me. No, everything they said definitely freaking was a reality. You know what I mean? Like, from what you brought up to the initiatives that happened last year about writing letters and statements to PWIs, and that includes, the one they brought up in here, Nataki Garrett brought up, was that Dear White Theater. So PWIs are predominantly white institutions, and think about college in that realm. So bringing up the fact that people were writing letters to all of these places, like, what are you going to do to create equity so that once we're out of this, we can come back in with the equity necessary for artists to thrive. It was some other things about what? Hold on. What does it say? What? Say it.
So BIPOC demands for white American theater. That was one of the
yes.
One of the documents that they referenced. So I just thought I would put
Yeah.
that. I would hope most people here have seen that document, but
well, I mean, and then and that right there actually also was good in understanding how so many of these institutions last year had those banners across their screens talking about you know, Black Lives Matter, we support Black lives and all that, but like, what are you going to do? So letters like that, you know, notifications sent out to these places was extremely important, because it's like, let's follow up on this. How are you actually going to do anything when your entire executive division is all white? Like, don't jump on this bandwagon and act like you doing something because you have a black banner. And everybody was saying that. So again, I'm, you know, I was definitely like, okay, I need to go read that. You know, I want to understand that more. But a lot of the stats that they brought up, I had already read before. And one in particular, one institute or paper, I guess, or report was from the Brookings Institute that I read, and it, you know, reflected everything they were saying in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know,
There was one point where was it? This looked like, I don't.
where was it? Oh God! Oh God! That is that how your brain it looks right there? That's your brain right. That's your brain right now. By the way, I like your earrings. They're cute. They're super cute. They're cute. They're cute.
I used to drum in a West African group, and so I made those.
Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? I was the colors. That's what I'm talking about. Lion of Judah. Okay, let me just be quiet. All right.
And I have a lot of friends from Guinea. Yeah.
Huh?
From Guinea, West Africa.
Oh, okay.
The colors also of their flag. I mean, of a lot of the flags. But yeah. Okay, so I shouldn't say her name, Kate Levin. Not what's her name, Kate Levin. I don't know much, know anything really about her.
I don't either.
But okay, I'm gonna get into something that's probably gonna be a little controversial. She was making this argument about supporting artists, but she was talking about how, like, nonprofit theaters, for example, in like the 60s, we had like 20 regional theaters. And then in 2020, before the pandemic, so at the start of 2020, we had over 2,000 regional theaters in America. That surprised me. But this is what she said. So, but it kind of, I felt like in some ways, her really emphasizing that we went from like in the 60s to 2000, to me almost felt like it was kind of weakening her argument, like maybe there's too many. And this is something I've been thinking about. Is too many arguments. What do you think? Your comments, Jim. Are there too many?
I mean, the thing is, it's because that includes all of these theaters, these really small theaters who don't have ensembles, to these huge theaters that, you know, it's like, you know,
yeah.
But I think it supported her point in saying that we had an abundance of growth through these years, and last year cut back on that 2000 because of how the pandemic was handled. So I thought it supported her argument, because she's like, look, we had all of these spaces for theater, and because of how things were handled, now, you know, what are we going to do? How are we going to, you know, bring them back to life, you know, and how are we going to fund them? What are we going to do as philanthropists? What are we going to do as the government? What are we going to do as artists? You know, how is it going to work? So I think it supported her argument. I mean, why do you think that wasn't supportive?
I wasn't sure. I just felt like maybe because I think one of the other things that they were discussing in the video was the way we valued art back in the day versus the way we value it now. And I was wondering, like, from 20 to 2000, and I was like, maybe we have too many artists. No, this has been some. I'm scared to talk about this, but I have wondered, like, are there? I feel like I meet a lot of people who call themselves a professional artist before really exploring the craft. I think like
Mm-hmm.
you can be making money on TikTok. Like kids are making money on TikTok. Like you can be already making money
Yeah.
for your art when you're a kid very easily now. Than I
Yeah.
think like when you and I were kids. I was like performing
Yeah.
in the front yard for donations, like stuff.
That's good.
But now, like these kids have like followers on TikTok by the time they leave high school. That's amazing to me. So, but yeah, like how about they call themselves professional artists and like what are the like requirements? What's the way we define what is a professional artist? Because like one of the things they also discussed in this video was the value of art with the dollar sign, right? And that we need to change
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
art. We need to think, we need to go back to how we used to think about how we valued art in culture. So it's like, okay, if we're really defining art by the amount of money we're making on TikTok now, I don't know. I just, I'm babbling now, but like, I just wonder, sometimes I get very overwhelmed by the amount that's out there on the internet and how to filter through it to find the really, really good quality craftsmanship. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
practical,
Yeah.
that it's not just like getting in cash. You know, like that's
Yeah.
your turn to talk. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse, like you're saying. Like I saw something once where this person, I think it's like the analogy was like it's a bookshelf. At one point you had a few books, and now you have like infinity books. And at that one point when you had a few books, you were like, okay, I can pick this one and that one and that one, and that's cool. But now you have infinity, and you're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Like you don't know what to do. And I think that's the curse of having, it being advancing technologically. But the gift is that here we are having this live conversation on our cell phones where people can listen in. And we're artists who, if we didn't have these services, then, we might not be able to get to the same amount of people, the same group of people in the same way. And it's troubling because, I've always said I have to get off social media. Like, I don't want to have to depend on it. And one of my close friends and collaborators, definitely, he formed Digital Action Committee. And one of the things he was talking about was, well, how are we benefiting economically from these platforms having us spread their platform? You know what I mean? And to speak to the idea of how many artists are out there, look, this is my thing. Everybody is not an artist, okay? Everybody's not an artist. People can be on TikTok, they can be on Micmac, they can be on Hip-Hop, whatever they on, and they're having fun, and that's cool. Have fun, enjoy yourself. But I am a professional artist. I have studied the arts. I work within this realm. This is what I do. The term creative bothers me, actually, because then it's like, oh, you're a creative, and they could be talking about the receptionist that's working at a graphic design firm. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, she's not a creative. She works in the creative industry, but she's not a creative. So when we think about the money and, the terms that are utilized to represent artists, it's not I should go to the actual terms that are utilized to represent the artists. No, it's not about the artist, actually living a good life. It's more so about providing the artists, providing these industries with the talent so that they can make all of the money. Because the numbers you brought up and that they brought up, Where's that? I don't see it in my pockets. I mean, yeah, if I was a celebrity, if I was, a celebrity, I would be making a whole lot more money. However, those celebrities are getting paid by those studios, for example, in Hollywood. So if they're making that much money, the studio is making dumb money, but it's not shared evenly. And this is where we go into equity. It's just not shared. And this is why we need to have different policies in time, especially in times like this, that help independent artists, small businesses, because that's what we are. We're small businesses.
Okay, so this leads me to another question. You had mentioned in our first episode, which Lily just joined us. Lily Fleur is on.
Hi.
Watch the first episode of our podcast series where we interview Lily Fleur. She's a chingona badass. Also chingona goddess.
Exactly.
So Janet, what I was wondering, you'd mentioned in the episode wage, for example, and I'm wondering what other reasons that maybe we can offer some of our listeners today for those who are like looking to become more business savvy. I really liked what who was it in the video? I think it was I can't remember who mentioned it, but in the video someone had mentioned like how we need to bridge more the schools and the arts schools, like the business and arts departments.
Oh yeah, Anna Devere Smith. She mentioned that.
Okay. Good. Glad one of us is paying attention. So, I'm wondering what you have to recommend to people besides wage.
Okay, so wage stands for Working Artists in the Greater Economy. And that is a platform that provides information on just a base minimum of what you should be receiving as an artist working within this greater economy. So wage is fantastic. And then I am working with FARE, F-A-R-E contract. And this is, oh gosh, I forget the woman's name. Her first name is Virginia. And then Susan Schwartz is the lawyer, but Virginia is the artist. And they basically took a 1971 document by an artist, Seth Seaglobe, and the lawyer he was working with to create this contract that we can all use as artists. And the thing is, we have to make sure we utilize these contracts so that they become the norm, that they're normalized within our industry, so that when we go to people and we say, hey, according to Wage for Work, this is how much I'm supposed to get, and here's my contract. Sign it, give me this, or we have no deals. And that's what we have to do. It's hard because some people are going to be like, no. And that's what's been going on all of these years. People are just like, no, we don't want to pay you. But you have to pay us because we're doing the work. But the other problem is that we have to survive. So, like one of the things that Lily brought up was that, the desperation of having to pay to, survive. You got to pay rent, you got to pay for food, you got to pay your other bills, you got to pay taxes, you got to do all these things. And one of the things I think that people can do, like you said, just recommendations besides working artists in the greater economy and spreading that information, is utilizing this contract, the FAIR contract, so that we actually can say together collectively, this is what we deserve. The other thing that can happen, I think, in colleges and universities, art schools, is that, like Anna Devere Smith said, we need to be able to, let's do some cross-college classes where we're learning the business of the arts, because that's definitely not happening in the majority of art schools. I don't know what's happening at Yale. I don't know what's happening at Harvard. I don't know what's happening, but I know it was happening in the place that I went.
Yeah.
And I know it was happening in the place that other friends went. So it's just a matter of us really making sure that, these conversations return results. Like, I made an investment in myself, in my career as an artist. I'm an artist regardless, but I made an investment in my career as an artist, and I want to get my return on investment. So then with legislators, when I don't have employment, or let's say my gig gets canceled or postponed like it did last year, I want to be able to get unemployment insurance without a whole entire situation of bills having to get passed and I have to wait so that I can get the unemployment. You know what I mean? Because I'm already paying into the unemployment. I'm already paying into the unemployment as a citizen. I'm already doing that because I'm paying taxes. And then the tax code, like Jason Farrago of the New York Times brought up, the freaking tax codes, like, it doesn't make any sense. Why are we paying the same amounts that these corporations are paying? And I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? So don't take my word for it. Look it up. Look and see how much the Walmart is paying in taxes. Amazon is paying in taxes. Look how much you're paying in taxes as an independent artist. Just check it out. Check it
This is
out.
here we go.
Yeah, yeah,
Read
yeah. Wait a minute. So no, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Lily said, art is not art is work, it's not free. And Sean said yes.
Exactly.
This is something I've also been thinking about. Like, when I think about my utopian visions, I feel like, okay, so I studied at the University of Munich. Okay, I went there.
All right.
It was free. Even as an international student, I was able to study for free and get my master's for free.
From where? Say it again.
University of Munich.
There we go.
Because after I did my undergrad, I was like, fuck the US. I am not studying here. There's no way.
I feel you.
So I feel like knowledge should be accessible, education should be accessible, and it should be free. So then I think about, well, then shouldn't art and culture be accessible, and shouldn't it be free? But we don't live in a society where our government pays for everything. So that's what I've been thinking a lot about, is like how, like, what can we do to get to that kind of vision? And this, like you had mentioned the other day, you found out that I was selling my book for only $1, and that for my book was going towards these nonprofit organizations that I studies in the book, right? And you were like, Dannie, your book is worth something. You should be making money from it. And I'm like, oh, well, I want to spread knowledge and I want to share research that I did. But you're right, Janet. Hard for me. And I know there's probably people too here in the chat who have a really hard time putting dollar signs on their art. I also think a lot, oh gosh, never mind. I was going to quote something about it. I forgot their name. But the idea of putting a dollar sign on your art, it's like putting a dollar sign on a hole, right? Emily Dickinson.
No.
She said it in a poem where she actually
Who said it?
Emily Dickinson. I can't remember the name of the poem though.
I don't agree, Emily. I don't. And look, oh, wait a minute. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but so this is what I'm thinking is like how do I, especially if I feel like my art is doing activist work and is even more important to me than, like, I'm not just entertaining or even like informing. I'm really trying to change society. If my artivism has that value to it, then I have an even harder time putting a dollar sign on it, because I want to see the social change happen. And I'm worried if I put the dollar sign, change happen. So these are
yeah, you know what? That's so cute. I remember when I thought like that. I remember when I was, no, but seriously, because look, as artists, that's kind of because of the perspective of people in relation to the arts, which is, oh, artists, you know what? You guys, you give us stuff that we can take into our spirits and help us. And, why would you want to do anything but that? You don't need money to pay for this photo that costs $1,000 framed. No, you don't. You just make it and then spend your last money on your food. No, don't spend it on your food. Spend it on the art so we can actually benefit from it. And I'm like, no. Before, in my mind, I felt the same way. I was just like, I I don't feel right. And it's because of how we're trained in society as artists. This whole idea of struggling artists, the reason why it's survived, that phrase has survived, is because it's constantly perpetuated. So for me, I had a shift in my thinking, being in LA, being in Hollywood. I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. No, they making money from their art. And then, oh, hold on, wait a minute. It costs this much for me to go to school. So, oh, and hold up, I'm an adult and I have to take care of myself. So I need to create revenue. I need money for the work that I do, because it's not only work that provides the space for empathy, work that provides the space for pondering and aesthetic pleasures. It's someone's profession. Just like you wouldn't go to the doctor and be like, hey, doctor, hook me up. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't go to my homegirl, Maria at Smile Design Center. Oh, gosh, she'll get mad at me. I wouldn't go to her. I wouldn't go to my dentist friend and be like, oh, can you hook up my teeth? Nah, because it's for my smile and my soul. So you don't need to get no money. No, I wouldn't go to her and do that. So why would you come to me and think that I'm going to provide my professional talents because I chose this route for nothing? Makes no sense. So we have to change what people think about the arts and about artists. This was another thing that came up in there. There was a stat that I did read before about, basically it was something like 98% of people appreciate the arts or value the arts, and only 26% of US citizens value the artist. What the fuck?
That so stupid, Janet. The way I wrote that, it's like so scribbled. It looks like my notes look like a movie, like cartoon. That blew my mind. It's like, I don't understand what people made when they filled out that. Okay, but so now we talk about artists as essential workers. Janet, how are you an essential worker?
How am I an essential worker?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just talk about, oh my God, we're inside right now. I'm sorry, I keep on going into these characters, but I can't help myself. Oh my God, we're inside right now. We have nothing else to do. Wait a minute, I can watch a play. Oh my God, look, this is making me feel better. Oh, my spirit has been lifted. Oh my God, what was I going to do? Like, at least I have this to watch. Or wait a minute. Oh, I don't have TV, but I have this board game. Oh my God, this is making me think about other things. And then, you know what? I might have lost a friend, and it's real. This is, it hurts because it didn't have to happen this way. But people lost people, and what do? They listen to music. You listen to music. You sing music with your family and your friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talk about essential. No, I am not a doctor. No, I do not work in a grocery store. No, I don't do all these things outside of the space that I work in. But I do create art. And I know that art heals. And I know that art in this time is a necessity, because it's how we're going to get through. So I'm essential. We're all essential. Well, everything that we all do to make this world go, this society, I should say, go around, is essential. It really is. However, without the arts, what are we going to do? We just going to sit in the house. We wouldn't be on this right here right now. You know what I'm saying? We would not be here right now. So please, stop playing with me. Stop playing.
I can read some of the comments that we're getting, and you got a lot of. Everyone loves you. A little bit. One person said you can spread the knowledge further with more resources, which is something we've talked about with our podcast. Is like, how can we also share resources on our podcast?
Oh yeah, that's Chike. What's up, Chike? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then someone said, sorry, who before it was Chris. Who was it? Who was that person? I don't.
Chris. I know he's gonna be mad because I can't say it right. Chris Tachi. Oh God. He is actually a computer dude. Like he knows all about this technology. He actually is a guy he's a Google guy.
Okay, he's the one who should have had us learning how to do Instagram Live.
Help us, TK, help us.
We have rebranding ourselves as manufacturing or production. We share we make a product, we impact the economy. And then Lily said in response to that, we make the economy thrive. Clearly, 848 billion. What was that? 878 billion.
Yeah.
So yeah, any comments on that though? Because I think this is like we're talking dollar signs. How do we need to change?
Okay.
How do we need to change the dialogue, the vocabulary, everything, the language? There's another article. I wish I remembered. It's on American Theater. It's a couple years old. They talk about the language that nonprofits use and how it doesn't work because it's capitalist language, and that the capitalist language doesn't work for the nonprofit sector. And I'll see if I can find that article on my computer. But anyhow, what do you think?
I don't. Yeah, I would love to see that article because the capitalist language does work. That's how they get grant. That's how nonprofits get grants. Like they. I mean, you said one comment. I think I see Sean W. Watwood, because we can't define it on a government level. What was that in response to? What? Let me see. I'm trying to see. Because we can't define it on a government level. Oh, the economy. Yeah, we can. We can define it on a government level. Hello, there's like a thing called the U.S. Department of Culture, and then there's the NEA, and then there's the fact that again, the economy. Just to reiterate what Danny just said, the money, the revenue is coming into the U.S. economy. So we can define it on a government level. It's just that it would not benefit the powers that be within those spaces to define it on a government level, so that revenue or the people that work within our industry actually benefit as well. If you can keep the money from people, you're going to keep it from people if you're that type of entity. If you're a government that doesn't give 2 cents about your public, that's just how I feel. So when I'm thinking about defining it on a government level, I mean, look, I can talk about how many hours I've worked. I can talk about my material. I can account for my materials. I can account for my mileage. I can account for my education. I can account for the research that I have to do, which is hourly. I can account for all of those things with receipts. So how is it, that, someone might think that we can't define it on a government level? I don't comprehend that.
I can't find the article. I'll see if I can find it.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, how do you think we can define it on a government level?
What, me?
Yeah.
I don't know, Jenna.
Well, think about it. I don't know either, goddaggit. I mean, I do know. You know what? I do freaking know. Like I'm sharing. We're sharing from, like, what do you think? Because you're smart. Like, what do you think?
What do I think? I did like that article that Jeremy Harris wrote. And I liked the ideas he pitched. I liked that he was concerned about what would happen in the government, a department of
hold up, it's breaking up. What did you say? You like what he said? What?
Sorry. 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 Okay, my internet's been really bad these last 2 weeks. have to call at least 10 times before they actually come and find out why there's a squirrel. So,
That's terrible.
anyhow, so sorry. Yeah, I read an article art dedicated to arts and culture, like
Mm-hmm.
some do, particularly in Europe and Australia. Um, but I think like I again, this is not necessarily my field. This is more your field, and I still feel like I have to do a lot of research. But it is that do. My instinct was like yes, 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 yes. There was nothing I saw in that article that I disagreed with. But now I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering, like, how are organizations doing these things? That his suggestion. How are people actually changing the way we like? Okay, so for example, he's like he was relating a lot to he's referring a lot to the New Deal, to the FDR era, and how we were giving money to artists with no strings attached. We were like, no new, but everything else is
Well,
okay.
just a couple of strings attached. Just a couple. Just a couple. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Like creative freedom. No.
But I think that like in comparison to now, that's the contrast he's making. Like now, there seems to be a lot more strings attached, a lot more expectations, particularly in dollars. Like, what's the revenue going to be? What's the income going to be? So the profit. So I'm wondering like what kind of activists are out there who are now trying to push some of these initiatives of like how can we get more funding without so many strings attached? How can we get funding that's really encouraging experimental collaboration, for example?
Mm-hmm.
That was one while watching this video, not just because I always think about you, Janet, but because there's a lot too about getting funding for the individual artists, not for nonprofits, right? And that was something
Mm-hmm.
I naive about. I don't actually know what those statistics are like for philanthropy in regards to funding the individuals versus funding the organizations. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I want to do more research, just find out. And that's why I wanted to ask you too. Is like someone like me who's like, okay, I'm inspired. How do we make this list into a reality? Where do I go? Like, who are the that are like trying to like make this shit happen?
Well, I mean, I think what you're asking is about some of the organizations that I brought up already, right? Like with wage and the fair contract. But are you talking about like? I mean, because this is okay. I'll put it like this.
Mm-hmm.
I just applied for something called the Forecast Fellowship, and this is specifically about public art and the inequities within public art. So my argument is that because of the standardized idea of what public art is, which is 2D and 3D work from a white center, the work that I create, which is ephemeral and sometimes permanent, sometimes, and it's performance and it's other things outside of, murals and sculpture. I'm not able to utilize the public art funding because because of the definition of public art. So Forecast is creating this fellowship for researchers to be able to locate methods to create that equity so that people like me can actually go into, or go into a government's office and be like, look, I do this. This is the research from what I create and how it can impact the public. Public art is not just this, it's also this. Therefore, fund me and the work that I do. Because as an example, one of my works that I did last year, and I've shared this with you before, but definitely, I did it outside, physical distancing. You were there. And people actually said to me, yes, this first time, yeah, in person, yeah. So people said to me, well, who's funding this? And I was like, me. And they were like, well, this is the kind of work that should be funded. And I said, yeah. So when that happens, I tell them, well, look, talk to your legislator, or share that with people online. It has to it has to be out there in the universe some kind of way on a regular basis. And then when we think about organizations, like I said, with forecasts, so there's tons of organizations out there that are doing the work, that are at least making the effort to do the work to affect the change that we actually need, so that the understanding, the first and foremost, the understanding of what art is, and its impact, how that happens. So I mean, we gotta find those places, and those places do exist, and we can do the work on our own too. It's as simple as consistently calling your legislator, calling your Department of Art, your Department of Art and Culture, whatever it might be in your city or your state, and telling them, hey, I want this type of work funded. What are you doing to fund this type of work? Telling them the arts is essential. What are we doing for artists? Because that 26% of people who value the artists, and 98% that value art, is just dumb. And that's because the education is not there. The education is not there because people don't understand that artists make the art.
Okay. I think it's so funny that you
By the
started.
way, it's 4:52.
Fuck. Okay. I have to go to my real job where I make real money as a teacher.
Let's use the right language. We have to use the right language, Danny. You are going to your other job to bring in more revenue, so you have multiple revenue streams. Okay.
Exactly. Yes. So, which we could still go back, because I still want to go back to that topic of like language and vocabulary. We will do that for another podcast episode, or
Yes.
or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like how you started your whole response of like, I think the question you're asking, Danny, is that, which I'm like, I don't even really know. And what's interesting too is like, now that I'm in Mexico at the moment, it's like when I'm thinking of like, okay, where do I go? Like, which legislator do I call? Like, which organization do I look into? It's especially like this letter that he wrote on New York Times.
Yeah.
It's we're talking like on a national level, right? So
Yeah.
that's why national. What are the options for like national movements, national campaigns, right? So, and I didn't know forecast. I need to look into that. And I guess maybe later, if we think of more references or resources, we can share those on our Instagram. But yeah, this made me think a lot, which is something I ask my students a lot at the end of class. Like, how did this think? What does this make you feel? What does this make you want to do? And I'm definitely like, I want to do something. I just don't know what the do is yet. The feel, I'm definitely like kind of mind blown by these statistics, especially or whatever it was. But the thinking, that's where I'm really at right now, is like thinking a lot about this and about researching more, particularly like how long have you been advocating for arts funding? Like, it's been a long time, a long journey for you, right?
I mean, you know what? Yeah. I mean, because yeah, no, it's because you have to do the advocacy for the artists too. So it's just so much to think about all the time. But I've been doing it for a short period of time, because I'm kind of a baby in arts advocacy when it comes to being in the public sphere. In the private space amongst artist friends and whatnot, like I've been an advocate all along, but I'm learning and building that knowledge, as when we're doing this together. This is helping me learn. And then the folks who are supporting us, who are our audience, I want to learn from them too. Like, that's why we have to get those resources. But I've been doing it for a little bit of time,
Okay.
on the public sphere.
Going back and looking through the chat to see if there's anything that maybe we have missed. I'm saying hi to some people too that I missed. Hi,
And
Cynthia.
also, I'm going to share the well, tag. I don't think you can copy, but I'll share the link. I don't think people can. I mean, they could just look at it, but I'll share the name of it too, the YouTube and Breakout, the case for funding the arts. And resetting the creative economy and resetting the creative economy. Okay, there we go. Just so people know what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but you like you said, you gotta go make that paper, dog. You know what I'm saying? And it's 4:56. And remember, since you kicked me off of the reflect thing, I think you have to save it. So just say
No.
you.
Oh no! Janet, I'm freaking out. I don't know how to do it.
You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, and what Sean said, yeah. And I'm sorry if I'm calling you by your first name. You know, that's Sean. I don't want to say your last name wrong. But artists shouldn't have to have 10 side hustles. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So, yeah, Danny. So
Yes, we are the same as transportation, but your local government doesn't get it. And I liked what you said too, Janet, about like, okay, we need to like have more, foster more conversation, foster more dialogue about it. But I definitely am always
yeah.
like more than just like raising awareness. Like the one phone call to like not enough. We really, how do we change behavior? How do we really change identity? That's like, you know, where that's where we need to go. But unfortunately, wait till our next live review to talk about that.
Yeah. So that's why, please, guys, gals, everybody, follow us. Follow us on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on whatever. What's the share it with your friends. Please share it with your friends, because that's just how we're going to be able to, you know, bring more people into this conversation and, you know, bring more folks into the overarching conversation and how we're going to learn as well. So thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thank you all for your comments and your chat. And yeah, we'll see you on the IG. All right.
All right. Talk to you later.
I really hope I do this right.
You can do it. You can do it.
I just
all right.
press
You can
like,
do it. You can do
live,
it.
like not go live? Like
yes, exactly. And then you'll have, it should say something about, I don't know, but you can do it. 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 Do it.
Number, it didn't work. There we go. FML. All right.